Okay, good morning. So today we're actually going to start with a little bit of pranayama that is from the Bikram tradition, which you may have done at some point. And the reason we're doing this is because the pose that Anouk requested requires our throat to be very open. And that's not a feeling that we are used to or that we always enjoy. So this particular movement helps us kind of get in that mindset. So feet either together, ideally together. If that feels weird for you, just do hips width. We're going to interlace the fingers and we'll bring the elbows together. So the knuckles are just right at the bottom of your chin. And while you're there, just make sure that you're standing straight up and you're not doing this whole butt sticking out thing. So it would be the same neutrality of your pelvis that you'd have in a normal samastitihi shape. And you're going to try to keep that normal neutral pelvis even when we start to move the arms in a moment. So your next inhale, let the palms open up, the elbows lift. We're going to actually stay here for an extra few breaths just to get used to this position. Notice how high your elbows are. For like the next 90 seconds, they're going to stay that high. And just try to drop your tailbone down so you're not sticking your butt out. Notice there's some pressure there between your knuckles and your chin. Belly's drawing in so that you're lifted up. And this whole pose, the feeling is up. So on your next exhale, you're going to bring your palms together, let the head drop back, open the mouth, exhale through the mouth. On your inhale, bring the chin down, the elbows up, and return to the position where you look forward. And again, exhale, the head goes back, the palms come together, exhale through the mouth, belly in, chest up. And inhale to press the chin down, the elbows lift, the armpits open. And just continue that at your pace. I like to feel that pressure of the hands squeezing together. It also helps us strengthen the neck. It's the exhaling back, chin lifts. The inhaling to just look straight forward, elbows as high as you can get them. The pace can be anything that suits you. If you're in a Bikram class, the paces are very regimented. There's literally a stopwatch in the room. Sometimes that's why people are attracted to that style. You know what's coming. You know that you'll have a certain distribution of poses throughout. And just take two more of these. Whenever the next time that you're looking straight forward is, just release, shake it out as needed. And we'll come to the top of the mat. So we'll just put that away. We just wanted to open the throat. Don't worry about what else we'll do to prep for that pose. Let's just bring the hands to prayer. Take an inhale. And exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward, legs straight or bent. Inhale, halfway up. Step to plank, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. Come all the way down to your belly for the exhale. Untuck the toes, little cobra, inhale. Child's pose, exhale. Bring your butt all the way to your heels. Straighten your arms and actually use your arms to push your butt down. Next inhale, rise to your tabletop, arch. And exhale again, butt to heels, round. Inhale, tabletop, arch. Pull your chest through, open the throat again. Exhale, round your back, butt to your heels. Two more times like this. You probably are thinking this is very easy, but are you keeping the weight on the inside of your hand? And are you keeping your arms straight with your forearms squeezing together? But to do it with that integrity brings it from easy to somewhat not so easy. So the next inhale, rock to your tabletop and curl the toes, downward dog. Keep that energy in the inside of the hand. Heels up high, inhale. Step or walk your feet, or jump your feet to your hands, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise up, inhale. Palms together, thumb to the back of the neck, exhale. Elbows are still pointing straight up. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, thumbs to the back of the neck, look straight forward. Just try to open through the triceps, the armpits. One more time. Inhale, belly in, get taller. Exhale, touch the back of the neck. Inhale, reach up, look up. And fold forward, exhale, legs straight or bent. Inhale, halfway up. And step back to plank, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. Lower to your belly, hips and chest land together. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. So you'll have to hoist your hips up and back. Pedal out your feet as needed to get each heel the opportunity to touch the floor. Oh, I have a spider walking across my mat. How will I get him outside? Maybe on this paper. I felt him on my hand. Okay, I'm glad I did not smush him. That would have been gross. All right, so either use that pedaling of the feet to walk your feet forward, or after your exhale, jump or step. We'll meet at the top of the mat. Inhale when you're there. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Let's bring the arms to cactus out to the sides. Next exhale, just lower the fingers. Keep your elbows where they are. And then inhale to rotate them up. And maybe back. And just go in whatever range of motion you can. This will vary wildly through all of us. And try not to let the whole, so you're not like doing any dance move. It's more neutral through your back. You're using your core to stay organized. Okay. Release the arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold forward. Halfway up, inhale. Step back, plank. Exhale. Stay there for your inhale. Just chaturanga for your exhale. 90-degree bends in the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the right knee so your left heel is close to the ground or on the ground. And kick yourself in the butt with the right heel and lift the knee up toward the ceiling, keeping your right heel near your butt and your left heel on the floor where it was originally. Keeping the right knee where it is, on your inhale, just straighten the right leg, that top leg, and exhale, kick yourself in the butt again. Inhale to straighten. You can point your toes, try to touch the ceiling. Exhale, squeeze your heel to your butt. Just one more time. Now let's step that right foot forward to the hands. You keep squeezing your heel up toward your butt when you step forward. You'll have an easier chance at getting your foot further forward. High lunge for the inhale. Twist to the right, open up the arms, exhale. Maybe bend the left knee a little bit. Inhale, high lunge, back leg straight. Exhale, twist. Maybe look back. Inhale, high lunge. And exhale, twist. Inhale, high lunge. We'll lower the hands to the floor and step back chaturanga, all in that same exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Bend the left knee so your right heel has a chance to get lower. And keep that heel where it is. Left heel to your butt, left knee up. Your right heel should not be swiveling around. You shouldn't be able to see it. It's hiding behind your 3 middle toes. Next, inhale, straighten that left leg. Touch the ceiling with your toe. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. One more time. And when you're ready, step the left foot forward to the hands. High lunge for the inhale. Twist open to the left, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Twist open, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Twist open, exhale. High lunge, inhale. And hands to the floor, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. So that thing we did where we stepped our foot forward and we were keeping our heel close to our butt, that's the same idea as jumping through when we do sitting poses and we jump and land on our butt. We have to keep that energy of feet squeezing up. Otherwise, they kind of drag along the ground and get stuck. We'll just practice that through some standing poses so that maybe later or next week or tomorrow, whenever you get around to your jump through practice, you have that aspect to think of. So right leg up high, inhale. Heel to the butt, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. Just think about that hamstring squeezing and step that right foot forward, exhale. Asana. Hands to the right thigh. Nudge that right knee a little more forward. Then we'll do the same arms we did earlier. Reach up for your inhale. Elbows are going to stay there. Touch the back of the neck with the thumbs. Exhale. One more time through that movement. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, thumbs to the back of the neck. And then we'll take 2 more breaths, just gently pressing the head into the forearms. And depending on your shoulders and your upper back mobility, you might feel a little extra back bend here, like your elbows are starting to point more toward the wall behind you. Next, inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to the floor, step back and lower down. That's a lot to do in just one exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left leg up high, inhale. Kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay there for the inhale. And keep squeezing as you step that left foot forward so that you get your toes lining up with your fingers or thereabouts. Back knee down, hands to the left thigh. Drop the hips low, chest up. And when you're ready, reach up. The exhale brings our thumbs back. The inhale reaches us up again. Depending on your flexibility, you may not be able to keep your hands together. That's fine. When your thumbs touch the back of the neck, they're going to be closer. Maybe they have to separate when you reach up. So we'll meet with our thumbs at the back of the neck. Elbows are close together. They're not wide out. Shoulder width. And just start to open the throat by pressing the head gently into the forearm. Drop the hips a little more. And then your next inhale will reach up. Chaturanga for your exhale. That's a lot of distance to cover. You could always stick in some extra breath, pause and plank if you want. But all roads are going to lead to downward dog. Okay, left heel down, right leg up, inhale. Kick yourself in the butt with that right heel, exhale. Stay there for the inhale. And take your right foot forward to the hands, exhale. Warrior 1, back heel down. Inhale, reach up. Take your cactus arms like we did before. And either practice that mobility that we did before. That would be really helpful for your shoulders. Or take reverse prayer behind the back. And if reverse prayer is not for you, You could instead do fist bump, or you could hold opposite elbows. So just choose one of those positions to stay in, or be in your cactus, moving back and forth. And whatever you've chosen, remember, you're still in warrior one. So is your back leg straight? Is your left hip moving forward? Is your front heel digging into the floor and helping you get that front knee to bend? Okay, slowly release whatever arms you have, reach up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Left leg high, inhale. Kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay for the inhale. Step forward for the exhale. Warrior one, back heel down, arms up. You can also choose high lunge instead, if this is no fun. And find your cactus or reach behind you. Notice your shoulders have to roll forward. There's a few ways to get into this reverse prayer. I get my hands high up on my back with my knuckles touching, and I press harder into the pinky edge of the hand to flip it around to palms touching. The other thing people do is they start connection with palms low. It's fingertips, it's knuckles, and as it slides up, it's palms. Doesn't matter how you get there. Remember your warrior one. Take one more breath. The next inhale, we reach arms up. And we exhale, hands to the floor, step back, lower down. Upward facing for an inhale, downward facing for the exhale. And just shake out your head and neck. Relieve yourself of some tension. Okay, we're going to take a few headstands throughout. I'm just walking over to my sweat rag. Okay, let's come to tabletop. So the headstand we're going to do mostly today is tripod. If you don't like that idea, do something else. So in this particular tripod, we're going to look at our hands, place them. We're going to look at where this triangle shape would be, 2 hands in the head. And then we're going to come onto our tippy toes, and we're just going to practice this aspect of moving the butt more over. So if I have the heels down, you can see where my butt is in relation to everything else. If I start to lift my heels, see how the butt moves. Then I come to tippy toes, the butt moves again. And I press harder into my hand, and I just get the feet a few inches off the ground. We're just going to try to go there. So see how that goes for you. I'm going to look, see. And if you don't want to go upside down, just do either down dog with straight arms or down dog with your forearms down. Because I want it to be easy for you to get your legs just a little bit off the ground. Good, so come on down, we'll meet in downward dog again. Miss Julie, the only thing is your elbows were a little wide, so bring them in, that's all. They'll have plenty of options to try. Okay, so from down dog with straight arms, inhale your right leg up high. Bend your knee, kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay up for the inhale, arms straighter. Step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. And we'll stay here for a few breaths, just nice and normal, warrior two. Good. Let's bring our elbow to our thigh, our left arm up, then as far back as we can, but with the palm still facing up. And you can even look with your eyes. I can see my fingers wiggling back there somewhere. And it feels like the whole torso is revolving up toward the ceiling. So keep all that except turn your palm to face down, then bend your elbow and slide your hand inside of your right thigh. And just look straight up so you see the ceiling that's above your face. If that feels weird, just look forward. Take one more breath here. And we're going to turn it into a triangle, but keeping our left arm where it is. So we're just going to straighten the right leg and plunk the right hand either onto the shin the ankle, the block, the big toe. Try to bring your waistline back toward your forearm. Two more breaths here. We'll release that back hand, bend the front leg, and just find your simple lunge with your fingertips on the ground. Next inhale, whenever you're ready, straighten your front leg, and exhale to bend it again. Two more times. Inhale, straighten. You may want to flex the foot, maybe not. Exhale, bend. One more time. Okay, step back. Three-legged downward dog or regular downward dog. Take a moment. Level out your shoulders. So our right leg is up right now. We're going to approach a headstand again in a moment with our right leg again up. So let's come to normal downward dog. Then come to tabletop. I'll just show you. It's very much like what you already did. Two hands. The head makes the triangle. We'll do that same thing with the tippy toes, but now the right leg is going to go up. And I'm just going to have my right leg help me tip. And I'm just going to stay here with this left foot where I can see it. So just try that. Keep your right leg as strong as you can and as straight as you can. So this method is going to make it so that you're not kicking. The wall becomes obsolete. A nook, elbows in. And Julie, maybe since elbows in is a weird idea for you because it didn't change, move your hands wider. That will fix the same. Yeah, that looks good, Jules. Okay. So we'll meet in a downward dog whenever you feel like you've tried that. It's really just a matter of shifting your weight. And you have to just get your mental capacities around that idea so you don't freak out. Okay, take a breath or so in downward dog. Try to relax your neck. Having a tense neck in this particular pose will not help. Okay, left leg high. Inhale. Kick yourself in the butt. Exhale. Stay there for the inhale. And bring your foot forward to the hands. Exhale. High lunge. Inhale. To warrior two. Exhale. And we're going to stay here in warrior two. Make any adjustments. You can move your feet. If you don't have a heel to arch alignment, just scoot your feet into that spot. If you feel like your hips are facing this way, you need to do a little more rotation to get them straight forward. Okay. So into Parsvakonasana, left elbow down, right arm up. So this is just a kind of a slow way in. Those of you that are comfortable with binding, you might want to skip this prep, but it does feel pretty good to reach back with the palm up. It helps stretch the forearms in a different way, which premonition tells me we need tomorrow in the AYC class. So we'll turn the palm down, bend the elbow, get the fingers as close to the inner thigh as possible. You might have your knuckles on your butt, it's fine. You're still opening that right shoulder. You're still trying to revolve your chest up toward the ceiling. Okay, we'll turn it into triangle. Left leg straightens. Hand goes somewhere that you can manage. You might want to scoot your feet closer together. Make sure both legs are straight. It's more important to have your left leg straight than to have your hand low on the leg. I don't care if your hand is on your knee, just get that leg straight. Reach your armpits away from your hips. Use that length to twist open more. Okay, we'll slowly unravel ourselves. We'll bend into that front leg and find just a nice normal lunge. Hips are facing the ground. On your next inhale, whenever that is, straighten the front leg. Exhale to bend. Two more times. This is just to gently increase our range of motion. There's no agenda here. Okay, then palms down, either down dog or three-legged dog. We'll stay here for a moment and try to get that left leg stronger. So it's straight and it's reaching up. And lower the leg. Come down to hands and knees. Slide your hands back, place your head down, lift the knees up. So the left leg is going to be lifting up, and you'll just come to the tippy toes of the right foot, and you'll know it's safe to get your right foot off the ground when it feels like your left leg is glued to the ceiling. Those of you who this is easy, play with those lower ranges, maybe even with both legs, because it's really the bottom 8 inches or so that is so hard. Once you're vertical, you could stay there forever. Okay, good. Let's meet in a downward dog again. And Miss Anouk, your elbows are still a little too wide. That will be more obvious when we go into arm balances that come from this position, because when you go to a tripod from here, you only have, or here from tripod, you only have this amount of space. I'm falling over as I explain this, but if your elbows are wider than this, Galavasana tripod is not going to happen. So just start to train your elbows now so that when you go to something crazy like that, it's not a big deal. Okay, so downward dog if you're not there. Right leg up high, inhale. Bend the knee, kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay there, inhale. And step forward to the hands, exhale. Simple twist. Left hand is flat, right hand up. And for this twist, let's concentrate on this right outer hip. So if you can, press the ball of your right foot down. Keep your knee over your ankle and swing your right hip back. There will be this intense pigeon-like stretch for the hip. It's fabulous. There's a lot that can distract you in this pose, so that's why we have to concentrate on this aspect if we want to find it. Okay, we're going to untwist and slide our left leg to the pinky toe side of the right foot and have a seat. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Same stretch. So we'll hug the right knee to the left shoulder. If this leg wants to be straight instead, that's fine, not a big deal. The way to get this stretch for this pose is you need to push this knee, this top knee, far to the left. Some of you hugging the knee will be enough. Some of you have to hook the arm. Some of you have to reach down for your foot. You just do what you need to do to find a stretch for the right hip. If your right knee is too far to the right, there will be no oomph, no extra. So you bring it into the deepest version that you need to feel something. Okay, so we'll slowly untwist. Your right foot is already glued to the ground, so keep that. Shift your weight forward to standing split left leg up. On your next exhale, just curl into a ball. 2 knees touch, the head touches in. Inhale, extend, standing split again. And just do that a few more times, whatever pace suits you. We're just trying to increase our range of motion again. Also, think about how straight you're getting your top leg. How helpful that is in your balance. Okay, the next time your top leg is straight, just step to a lunge. Anjaneyasana, that left knee will come down, hands will come to that right thigh. And we'll take a prayer twist. I like to unbend the front leg while I'm twisting, then sort of dive in. And then rebend once the arm is where I want. So either prayer twist, or you can open your arms up, or you can bind under the leg. Choose something that is enough for you. Straighten the back leg. By enough, I mean, are you here? Are you present on your mat? If your pose is too easy, your mind is going to wander. We'll slowly undo whatever twist you have, and just vinyasa will meet in downward dog. Okay. Normally I would do something before we go to the other side, but I fear that if we do it that way, I'll forget what we did. So, left leg up high, inhale. Bend the knee, kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. And step forward, exhale. Simple twist. So when we step forward, we want our toes kind of lined up with fingers. You need a pretty long stance, otherwise it's hard to keep the knee over the ankle. When you're ready, left arm is up. And we try to find a stretch for that left hip. Squeeze the thighs together so you feel like there's some traction. Like if you didn't have a sticky mat and you're wearing socks, you really have to work a different way. Good, and unravel. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So keep your left foot where it is. Just move your right knee outside of the left foot. Bring your butt down. If the ground is too far away, just sit on something. If you want your right leg straight, just straighten it. But this left foot is still there. Hug, hook, or bind. And if you're hooking, you're actively pushing your knee away from the direction you're twisting. Try to look back. John, if you bend your elbow, it might be easier. You'll have a little more oomph. Yeah. I really only straighten the arm if I decide I want to hold the foot for that day. Otherwise, it's hard to have strength in the arm pushing. Okay, we'll slowly unravel. Your left foot just stays where it is, and the rest of you moves around that for your standing split. Fingers anywhere you need for your balance assistance. And we'll just exhale to curl into a little ball. Inhale, extend everything away. Right leg super straight. Whatever pace you want. You can think about your right leg not only going up, but kind of going over. Like passing through that plane. Most of us are not actually flexible enough for it to pass over. We are not Cirque du Soleil, as Lisa likes to say. Wink, wink. But if you feel that energy of crossing the plane, you can take that into your inversions, and it's helpful. Okay, the next time your leg is up, whenever that is, step back, Anjaneyasana, for your prayer twist. However you want to get into it. I like to reach up pretty high and sometimes even side bend. And start to practice your binds here as much as you can, so that when you get to Pashasana, etc., it's a little bit better. And for the bind, my right arm will not go under my leg by itself. So I put my left fingers on my right forearm and just give the tiniest of nudge. Not enough of a nudge that you hurt yourself. Miss Ashley, your bind could have been tighter, girl. She's like, yeah, I know. Leave me alone. All right, let's slowly get out of there. And I think we just vinyasa. If that's not true, do whatever we did, and I'm going to watch you, and then I can call it out to the group. Okay, everyone's vinyasa-ing, so that was good. When y'all are not with me, and I lose track of us, harder to recover us. Okay, so we're going to come to hands and knees again. I'll just show you the next iteration of tripod that we're going to do. It's great fun, don't worry. So hands down, head down. You can see your elbows with your eyeballs. So if your elbows are splayed, you kind of know it. So we're going to do the same thing we did. Feet are about 6 inches up. And we're just going to widen them and bring them into touch. Just a few times. And if you keep your legs straight while you do this, you'll have an easier time at finding the range, but also staying in the balance. You're going to be tempted to lift your legs higher because it's easier to do that. But as much as you can, just stay within that under 12 inches range and just deal with your displeasure. It's part of why we practice yoga, is to learn how to cope when things are uncomfortable. Okay, this is looking pretty easy, y'all. Good. Downward dog when you're done. So Miss Carol Bloom, if you can do all of this, there's no reason your Bandha C is not going up symmetrically. Just saying. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay there for the inhale, and bring your right knee between your hands. Galavasana. Left leg will come under. We're going to do the anahatasana style today. So sit on your butt. If the floor is too far away, grab a block, a book, a pillow from your couch. And you'll either want your feet close to your hips, or if your hips feel a little more open, you're going to have your feet further apart and your shins roughly in a straight line. So you decide where your feet go. Tall. Belly in, and as much as you want to, fold forward. You can either bring your fingertips out to the side and help you balance, help you keep your butt level on the ground. Or you can take the Galavasana V arms, which is right elbow toward the ceiling with the fingertips by the shoulder blades. Left arm around the back under, so your fingers link. If you've chosen this V arm position, keep pressing your head into your arm so the throat stays open. And while you're folding forward, it's the same shape of your back as when your fingers were on the floor. So having this difficult arm position does not give us permission to lose the integrity of the rest of the pose. Take 2 more breaths. And we'll slowly rise up from wherever we are. Unravel your arms if they're tied up. Pigeon, right leg in front. So you're just going to swing your left leg back and try to square up. Use the hands as needed. Three-legged downward dog. Lift the back knee, slide the right leg up. Take a moment with that right leg reaching for the ceiling. Now we're going to change it, flex the foot and bring your right ankle to your lower left thigh. With your brain power, push your right knee back. So you can see this number 4 type of thing. Take a breath. And start to walk your hands back. Bend your left leg so you wind up in flying pigeon with your left thigh acting like a shelf. You can keep your fingers on the ground. You can bring your hands to prayer. You can hold the wall if your balance feels off. But that right knee is nicely dropping down toward the floor. Your chest is reaching toward your shin. Okay, walk yourself into downward dog again. And as your hands go forward and your left leg straightens, you're going to have to use a lot of willpower to keep your right knee back. As much as you can, stay there, take a breath. And then we'll just meet in downward dog, nice and normal. Pedal out your feet as needed.
And other side, left leg up high, inhale. Kick yourself in the butt, exhale. Stay there for the inhale. And knee comes forward between the hands. Walk your right leg in. I lean forward quite a bit to get the thighs hooked very high. When we have a seat on the ground or the block or the pillow, we decide where do we want our feet to be. Then we decide where we want our hands to be so that we can reach the chest toward the knees. So it's not the head toward the knees. It's quite the hip situation, but if you also want to add your shoulders, your right shoulder's going to roll forward, your left elbow will point up. If your fingers can't hold, either use a strap or just deal with one arm and not both. Those of you in V arm position, don't forget to push your head up into your arm. Keep your throat open, your neck strong. To make that happen, you can try looking further forward. That will sort of trick your body into doing the actions. Okay, we'll slowly rise up. We'll turn it into pigeon with the left leg in front. So in pigeon, if your left foot is close to your right hip, it's pretty much a pointed foot. You have the top of the foot pressing into the floor. As you bring it forward, you end up with a little bit of a point situation, and the edge of your foot is karate chopping into the floor. And those of you who bring it really far forward, you just have that nice edge of your foot. The foot is flexed, and it's a very strong ankle. Don't let your ankle get all loosey-goosey here. Okay, we'll turn it into three-legged dog. The right knee has to lift so that you can support the pressing back. When you're ready, bring your left ankle to your lower right thigh. Your mental capacity will push that left knee back. Start to walk your hands in. As they walk in, bend your right knee so that it's easier. Whatever you need with your hands. The more you bend your standing leg, the easier the balance is. The more you'll feel in your hip. Okay. Walk it to downward dog again as you see fit. That right leg will just incrementally straighten until you get to the normal down dog shape. And then you can just release your left leg. Symmetrical downward dog. Normal breath. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Back knee down. Anahatasana. So we'll straighten that front leg. And we're going to spiral the toes out to the side. So this is just coming from the hip. Lean forward a little more. Flex the foot a little more, engage the quads a little more. Okay, and spin it to the center. Return to Asana. And we'll just pivot around to the other side, hand over hand, a spinyasa. So we're just facing the back of the mat. And we'll just do that same thing. Left leg straight. This is Anahatasana. Flex the foot like crazy. And then spiral the toes out to the side. I notice on this side I go about half the amount as the other side. Reach forward with the chest a little more. Maybe look forward if that helps create the lane. Okay, and we'll bring the foot to center, bend into the knee, quarter turn to the right for Parutanasana A. And we'll lift into our headstands again like we've already done, but you were doing it from a different position before. But it's the same thing. So we'll start to lift the heels. We'll come to the tippy toes, and we'll just lift the feet maybe 6 or 8 inches. And earlier you did the one where you started with ankles together and then you widened them. So now you'll just start with wide, then you'll bring your ankles to touch and bring it wide again. Just do that a few times at your leisure. And we'll meet again with our feet on the ground whenever that feels appropriate for you. Okay, let's walk ourselves toward the right foot. So we're facing the top of the mat. And we'll start to creep that left leg back so our Anjaneyasana gets longer. It might or might not turn into Hanumanasana. So the Ardha Hanumanasana that we did, we were dealing with our right hip and hamstring. So that's still true, but now we're also dealing with our left hip flexors. Take one more breath. And start to creep your back knee in again. So you just use your back foot and ankle to kind of nudge it piece by piece. Bend into the right knee, quarter turn to the left. Before we go to the other side, we're going to try the headstand again, but this time Baddha Shirsasana C. So instead of the palms flat, elbows up, it's elbows down just behind the wrists. If this does not seem comfortable for you, repeat what we did before. Otherwise, you'll come to the tippy toes again, and you'll just try to get your feet a little bit off the ground. You might decide to stay there, or, ooh, it's harder to bring it through. Your butt has to just be a little more over. But it's fun. So whenever you see fit, Miss Bloom, this was not the time to get water, girl. Walk over to the other side. We're going to have to do that again because Carol took a water break. She thinks I can't see her. Okay, so walking the right knee back. We're just making Anjaneyasana longer until you feel like, ya basta, enough already. You could have blocks under your hands so that you have an easier time being upright. You can have a block under your left thigh. By block, I mean also it could be a towel, pillow, a cat toy, what have you. Okay, so I'll start to creep that back foot in, back knee in. And we'll find again our Baddha C. So some of you can just do it from this straddle. If you're finding that that is not happening for whatever reason, return to how we were doing things before, where we place the hands, place the head, and we keep our feet together and we just come tippy toes. We move the butt over until at some point the tippy toes turns into toes in space. And just work that bottom 6 or 12 inches. Good. So Ashley, don't give up. Try that again. That was really good. Your legs were a little bit high. They were like here, but there was movement.
So I just can't get my legs up because my elbows want to lift.
I understand. So you can always think about digging your elbows into the floor. If that doesn't work, potentially what's happening for you is your head is too close to your fingers. It's a very fine line. So this is my position. I need my head kind of like right there in the middle. Sometimes the head might be too far forward or too far back. So if you've been trying this for a long time, move your head just a smidge. So if your elbows feel too light, move your head a little bit more toward your elbows. Just so that there's more weight digging into that area. And while Carol tries that, let's all meet in downward dog. John, that doesn't look like downward dog. There we go. Maybe there was a blip in technology because then he got to down dog so fast. I'm not sure if there was a freeze frame. Okay. So let's walk the feet forward toward the hands. Doesn't matter exactly where they land. I'm going to face you guys just for camera's sake, but you're fine. So we'll straighten the arms. We're going to lean a little bit to the left and just lift the right leg out to the side. And we'll lower that right leg, shift the weight over to it, and lift the left leg. We'll lower that left leg, we'll shift the weight again into the left foot, lift the right. So you're going to feel this in your butt quite a bit. That outer glute. Which before we started, I shared that I'm sore in that region from Friday's class. So that just means I'm making my life worse. No, that's okay. This is a great prep for a Nooks pose. So just take one more trip through this cycle. Just getting your leg as high as you can. Whenever your last side is done, just release through the middle, bend your knees, and start to roll yourself up, eventually standing. Okay, we made it. Flying pigeon, at the top-ish of the mat, so you might need to step forward a bit. Right ankle to lower left thigh, butt back, chest forward. You did this already. Okay, so we're going to bring our butts to the ground. Some of you are just going to lower from here. Some of you undo your leg, sit down, and then put your right leg again on your left thigh. So practice flexing your foot. Fingertips behind you, nudging the chest forward. One more breath here. And we're going to turn it into Janushirasana A. Left foot out, right foot to left thigh. Inhale. Reach out for that left foot, exhale. Each inhale, extend yourself, twist a little, and each exhale, fold forward more. Those of you who are getting your body pretty close to your leg, look forward toward your left foot so that you'll have your throat still open. Okay, so we'll rise up. We'll release the foot and we'll put that right ankle again on the left thigh. Lean back, slide your left foot back close to your butt, as close as you can. And then again, just walk yourself in to be a pancake. So it's the walking in to be a pancake that's going to get your butt off the ground to return to flying pigeon. If you have knee issues, don't do it that way. Just undo your legs, stand up, and then repeat. So we'll meet in flying pigeon by leaning the chest forward in order to get the butt off the ground. Okay, remember this leg position. Rise up and let it go. We'll do all the other side. Flying pigeon, left leg. Lean forward, butt back. As you see fit, start to bring your butt down. Somehow, make your way to this pancake shape. And make sure your left foot is flexed like crazy, more than you think you need to. Okay. Right leg straight, left foot to right thigh. Inhale, your armpits come up away from your hips. Exhale, fold. Each inhale, we lengthen. Each exhale, we fold more. Okay, now we'll rise up. Left ankle to lower right thigh. Flex that left foot. Lean back so that your torso counterbalances your leg. Place your foot somewhere you want it. Start to lean forward. As you feel like you're leaning far enough forward, start to walk yourself to the standing balance, flying pigeon. Okay, so we're going to find the same pose from headstand. So let that go. It's just a matter of your legs talking to each other. So I'm going to face you guys to show you, and then I'll watch you do it. So it starts out like your triangle, your tripod shape. You'll let your legs lift. You'll bring one ankle to the other thigh, flex the foot like crazy, and then the top leg is going to bend to pull that bottom leg in. You may or may not touch your arms with your bottom leg. But if you do, it's because your top leg did the work of bending to push that ankle in. So give it a try. The legs really do have to talk to each other. They cannot act independently. Those of you who this is easy and you actually land on your arm, you're going to lift your head up, Galavasana. Your foot has to be flexed. Especially if you're going to Galavasana. If you don't flex that foot, it will not work. And now you'll see very clearly if your elbows are too wide. Hi, Jack. Hi, Blaze. Good, this is going very well. Those of you who are going up to Galavasana or headstand again, you might have to rest between sides, but make sure you do both sides. Good, so Carol, your descent was a little fast. Otherwise, it was good. Yes, Ashley, fight for that. So for you, at that moment where you started to fall, the way that you'll fight is you'll push your ankle into your arm. So it comes from that place that's like right here, the lowest point of your shin. That's where the fight is going to originate so that you don't lose it. Oh my gosh, Blaze is just the cutest. So whenever you happen to be done with your sides, we're going to meet in down dog again, but take your time. Some of you are about to have a good breakthrough moment. You never know when those are going to arise. So you got to take them when they come. And then look, your arms are still a little wide, but as you start to get your legs closer to your body, you're going to figure that out. So no big deal. Okay, let's come to downward dog. We'll lift the heels up high for an inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale, look past your fingers and jump through. Have a seat. Right foot will come back. Close to our hip, about 5 inches here between foot and thigh. Asana. Reach as far forward as you can. I use the left hand out to the side to help me not fall. So when you're reaching, it's straight forward. Get your armpit in front of your shin. Either just place your right fingers down outside of the foot somewhere, or full bind around your leg. Whether you're bound or not, your left leg is straight and your chest is trying to be further forward than your shin and knee. Than your right shin and knee. So it's really getting your reach and getting your armpit in front. If you're getting that position, the bind is not such a big deal. That's like most things. The setup and the first step or two is the hardest part. The thing that looks fancy is not the hardest part. Okay, slowly unravel. We're just gonna extend both legs out and roll down slowly to your back. As you roll down, your knees may or may not bend. Just depends on you. Whenever you get down there, reach over your head, inhale. And roll up again as slowly as you can as you exhale. Like you're reaching or there's a rope to pull. We'll just do that one more time. Inhale. And start to roll down, exhale. I know it's not that fun, but it does help us. Inhale. And we'll start to roll up for the exhale. And if you find that you get stuck, just take an extra breath. Doesn't have to be a whole rushed thing. Okay, Marichyasana, other side. This is Mari A position. Left heel comes in. Reach as far forward as you can. If you're having trouble getting that forward trajectory, hold your foot and literally pull yourself forward. If I only pull forward, I fall to the right, so I also push my right hand down. When this is going well and easy and you feel like your chest is moving forward, then you let your left arm come out to the side. When there's enough tension there between arm and shin that you feel good about it, then you try the bind. Maybe just with the left arm so that you don't fall onto the right side, or maybe eventually the right arm becomes redundant. Okay, and we'll slowly rise up. Let that go. So if you have a ponytail or bun thing behind your head, let that go, because we're going to be going toward a shoulder stand in a moment. But it'll be a vinyasa shoulder stand, so we're not really staying right now. So we'll lay down, and on the inhale, we'll lift the legs up to the ceiling. On the exhale, we'll go to plow, toes overhead, butt up. Start to roll down as you inhale. One vertebra at a time. Keep your thighs pretty close to your body. And then exhale to lower the heels down to the floor or just out there somewhere. They don't have to go all the way to the floor. But we'll just do that again. Inhale the legs up. Exhale, halasana, plow pose. Inhale, coming down, articulating. You can always bend the knees if that makes it feel better in your back. And exhale, legs down some amount. One more time. Inhale, legs up. Exhale them over. Inhale, back down. Exhale, legs down. We'll bring the knees to the chest. Hold your shin bones. And just start to rock forward and back. Bring your chin to your chest so that your rounding is easier. Like look at your belly button. And let's release the grip. Vinyasa at your pace. We'll just meet in downward dog. We'll jump through and have a seat. There will be, in a few minutes, another shoulder standing thing. So if you need to deal with your hair, you decide. Okay, so either Janu Shirsasana like you did before, or this time, cradle your leg in your arms, or bring it to half lotus. So we're just potentially upping the game a little bit. You decide. If you're in half lotus, wrap your right arm behind you. Each exhale, it's the same folding over. Each inhale, it's the same extension. Those of you who are not in the forward bend version, if you're in the baby cradle hip stretch, you're just going to try to sit up really tall. So John, you could be here. Hold the ankle. You do not have to put your foot in your elbow. For me, it's just easier because then my
arm bone is holding my foot and I don't have to really use my arm muscle. That's all. You know how lazy I am. I try to make everything very efficient. Otherwise, I won't get through my day. Okay, let's change sides. So the left leg, either Janu or baby cradle or half lotus. If you want your half lotus, you might end up squishing your thigh because your foot is not high enough. Really, you need your edge of foot right up in the hip crease. It just takes a very long time to migrate that far. So if you're somewhere center thigh, you fold forward, you're going to squish your quads. It's fine. You're not going to do any damage there. It's just uncomfortable for a few breaths. You just deal with it until eventually it's high enough that it's clearing any sensitive region. Okay, so let that go. Backbends, soles of the feet together, chest up, open up the feet so the knees drop down, and fold forward any amount. Maybe hands on the feet is not feeling productive for you. Maybe you want to reach forward. Maybe you want to push from the back. You can hold your thighs. Whatever. So all of these shenanigans were to train us to get into lotus with no hands, which we're going to practice today from shoulder stand, but it doesn't have to be lotus. So I'm going to show you, and then once you go up, it's very hard to see. You can't see. You're looking at the ceiling, not at your video screen. So I'll show you, and then I'll talk you through it. I'm going to face this way for the camera's sake. Okay. So first we would find our shoulder stand, or you could start in Galavasana and then lift your leg. Sometimes that's easier. Then I'll put my right ankle on the lower thigh, just like we did before. We have that number 4 pose. Then this top leg is going to, just like before, like in our headstand, is going to start to escort the other leg in. I could just practice this. This is fine. Or I could let this leg start to play the violin and slide up to the hip crease. Once it's in the hip crease, this right knee, this one that I'm flailing around, needs to move up to the ceiling to get out of the way so that the other foot can come in front. And then there's another session of wiggling. Not for everyone, but for me. So we'll try that. In the Ashtanga world, we actually only do it right leg in. So I'm going to give you 2 opportunities to try this, and you decide, do you want to practice right leg, or right leg, left leg?
I have a question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So if I put my right foot in lotus, and then I bring my left leg, the left leg, if I don't pull on it, it's not going to go. But if I pull it, I can put it in lotus.
Okay, yes, that's true. It's easier when you have your hands. But when you're in a headstand trying to get your legs in lotus, you're busy with your hands. You don't have any available hands. So you have to, at some point in the next 5 lifetimes, does not have to be when you are a nook, you will figure out how to do it with no hands. It's easier to practice it from this shoulder stand because you can actually see your legs. When you go to do it from headstand, it's totally blind. So just try, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if you don't want to be messing around with that, shoulder stand, straight legs will do just fine. Julie, does your back hurt? If your back hurts, Miss Julie, maybe try Bakasana, which is totally off left field, not relevant exactly. But if you practice your Bakasana, sometimes with the back pain, that might help you kind of sort it out a little bit. So sometimes when people are very flexible, their lotus is just like, whoop, like whipped right in there, no wiggling.
I have to really scooch, point that foot or dig that foot into the hip crease and then scooch. So it's a process. Okay, very good. So a lot of you have already done it twice. So if you have not, feel free to do it again. The rest of us are going to meet in down dog B. And we'll take like 45 seconds or so there. So if you're still going through your shoulder stand, take your time. So Anouk, that's pretty good. Your right knee needs to point up more toward the ceiling. It's still kind of hanging out a little bit low. Sometimes the reason it's difficult to point that knee up is just the hip flexor is a little tight. So that's going to change. Ashley, you know what to do there, girl. You just aborted mission at the last second. All right, so down dog B, make sure your neck is loose.
I was visioning it in my head like you always tell us to do.
You were what in your head?
I was picturing it in my head. That was enough.
Okay. But I know you could do it in reality too. Okay. So let's straighten the arms, normal downward dog. And then bring the right leg forward between the hands, lower the left knee. So here we are in our first back bend in the back bending direction. We've already done this pose, but now we're actually going to start heading into back bends. So let's take our robot arms, roll the shoulders back. It's kind of a big dramatic swoop. And either keep poking your elbows back toward the wall behind you, or reach your fingers to the floor under your hips. If your fingers are close but not touching the ground, try bending your front leg more. Or try leaning your shoulders back more. Okay, let's place the palms flat, vinyasa. And step the left foot forward to the hands. Lower the right knee down. Take a few breaths, get organized. Take your robot arms. So we're digging our front heel into the ground and dragging our hips forward. If I don't do that, this is where I am in Anjaneyasana. My hips are all the way back here. So if I want the hips forward, I dig that heel and I bend the front knee deeper. When you're ready, either elbows back or fingers down, breathing. John, that was good. I don't know why you're leaving. There you go. Back in the game. All right, hands down, vinyasa. Okay, we'll rock forward to plank and lower down to the belly for Galavasana C. We'll interlace the fingers behind the back. And for right now, let's keep the thighs on the floor. Just lift chest and shoulders. Dig your toenails into the floor so that you feel a little more anchored. And try to come up a little higher with your chest. Chin is lifted. Okay, slowly release. Hands under the shoulders. Curl into upward facing dog. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Rock forward to plank. Inhale. And all the way to the belly. Exhale. Okay, A position, but this time we're going to try to keep the head and shoulders down and just lift the legs. I'm not going to show that my legs are lifting, but I'm going to feel like the legs are lifting. They just don't look like they're lifting. Such is the way I'm built and the degree in which I can lift. So just place your forehead down
Arms are by the sides, knuckles down. And just try to push your pubic bone into the floor and try to get your legs off the ground. I'm trying very hard to get my legs off the ground, but they're barely lifting. Let's take 2 more breaths. And slowly come on down, cycle through your vinyasa. That is a lot of hamstring. Okay, down dog B again. I like to come to the knees and then measure out the elbows. You don't have to do it that way. So we'll try Pinchamayurasana, but it's optional. You could stay in this down dog B with both feet on the ground. If you're going to pincha, remember how you did it in your headstand earlier, where you lifted one leg and you came onto the tippy toes so that you could keep one foot low? Potentially try that. It's great fun. It will eliminate the desire to kick. And it will eliminate the need for the wall. Sides will be very different, you'll notice. Okay, very good. Come on down. So those of you using the wall, do not throw your feet at that dang wall. If you use it, it's because you got up there and you wiggled a little too much. Okay. So down dog B, loose neck, into anahatasana. Knees down, and walk them back a bit until you can get your chin to the ground. So you're looking between your thumbs pretty much. Okay, slowly slide out of that. I just like to slide forward, however makes sense for you, and we'll meet in down dog B. You could cycle through the vinyasa or not. And let's try our pincha again. This time, once you're up, try looking a little more forward. So that your back bend is a little bit bigger. Dang! Carol hit that on the head. All right. Downward dog. So my favorite or least favorite version of knees, chest, and chin, I'm just checking the clock. So the Monday folks, you've seen this before. So in a lot of styles of yoga, there's a vinyasa where instead of chaturanga, you do this kind of thing, and then you slide forward to a cobra kind of thing. So we're gonna take an element of that, where it looks like we're going to knees, chest, chin, but we're gonna actually leave the chest down there. If it's too easy, walk your knees in a little. And if it's still too easy, interlace your fingers and lift your thumbs off your butt. So just take it as far as you want. It's a killer for me. If you get somewhere and you decide it's too much, just back up. Having the hands by the shoulders does make it worlds of easier. So an easy way to back up is just to release that interlaced grip. So take your time getting yourself out of there. We're just going to meet in downward dog. And we'll jump through, have a seat, lay back. Setu bandha sarvangasana.
with robot arms. So just like when you were in Asana, your elbows are going to be pushing back. But at this point, pushing back means pushing into the floor. So we'll push into the floor with the elbows in the feet. Lift the hips up high. Chin is away from the chest. And let's slowly come on down to the butt again. Feel free to repeat that. That was setu, bandha, sarvangasana, or hands by the shoulders, lift up to Urdhva. Come on down. So some of you will choose to stay here and work your back bends from your back. There's one other back bend that I'll give you an option to play with. And we're going to start that one. It's more like the chin stand one that Ashley loves and that Anouk has requested. So if you start with your legs wide, just, in a straddly thing, hands go by the inner thighs. We lean forward, get our butt off the ground, walk forward. So now our feet and hands are on the same plane. So you could have just started here. You didn't have to start at the butt. So then I'm going to give my body a lean forward, hug the elbows to the ribs, chin down, and then legs up. So it's just combining a lot of stuff you've already done. The arms are going to feel a little bit chaturanga-y. The biggest thing is you have to lean forward really far because your legs and your butt have some weight. So let's see this enough. You might not have room in your house, girl. You might have to go in your yard.
To wiggle to the other side, but show it again. I requested it. I better do it.
Okay, so I'll show it from a different angle. So here we are. The feet and the hands are going to be on the same plane. At first, I have to just walk them in a little bit. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to show you from there because then I have no chin on the mat. So I'm going to lean forward. Like headstand, I'm going to come to the toes. And then I'll use my outer glutes and low back to lift the legs. So remember when we did this thing earlier where we shifted our weight? This thing? So that muscle here is going to get your legs up. And then these muscles here are going to bring them over the plane.
I get the leg, like, is that your chin is down the mat?
Yeah, so it's all of this, basically.
Leg, and also
And you're going to look forward. So give it a try.
How to get there? Is that like an option with the forehead down?
No, not forehead down. Forehead won't ever be down. It's very similar to this one. Same thing. So for that way, I just started here in that knees, chest, chin thing we did. I think it's harder though when you have your feet in. It's easier if the feet are wide just because then getting your weight forward is easier. Ashley doesn't agree with that though. That's why you gotta try it all kinds of ways. Because you'll find the way that works for you. And Ash, since it's easy for you to get up that way, try getting down through the straddle just so that you have other options for choreography. And for those of you who are not trying this ridiculousness, theoretically you're doing your back bends from your back. Urdhva Dhanurasana, setu, bandha, sarvangasana. So Ash, you're like on the tip of your chin. You need to be a little more forward and have more throat exposed. Make yourself less comfortable. Three more inches, Ash. All right. And then your elbows kind of in touching. It's hard. But sometimes our regular back bends get a little boring, so we add these ridiculous things.
But like the more extended I get in the chin, the more possible it feels that I can lift my legs from straddle.
Yeah. And it's all that throat opening stuff. Like when we started like this, that first thing we did was to get your throat prepared for something like that. So, okie doke. Let's meet in pigeon, right leg. We're gonna forget about it real soon. So just bring your head down, either to your forearms or the mat or whatever you have. And let's rise up, switch legs. This is just a nice post back bend activity, this pigeons. Let's rise up, soles of the feet together like we did before, Galavasana, but we'll go through cat-cows at this point. So inhale to arch and exhale to round. Take your time. Let's meet eventually in a neutral back with our feet at max width. We'll start to fold forward and we'll just slide the hands or walk them down the legs until they will go no further. If you have no aches and pains, your mind might be wandering. Sometimes I'm thankful for my aches and pains, which usually takes the form of back pain, and it helps me remember to draw the belly in. If we feel good, we don't really think about it. Okay, let's slowly rise up, lay down, and we'll just cross the right thigh over the left and drop the knees to the left elbow. Gaze to the right. Even after all that we just did, my back just cracked. And let's slowly unravel. Cross the left thigh over the right. Drop the knees toward the right elbow. You can use your hands to help put the knees right where you want them. And let's unravel and come through center. One knee at a time through center is easier, less strain on your back. Just give yourself a hug. It's like a child's pose, but upside down. And when you're ready, Shavasana or sitting meditation or sitting pranayama, whatever you want.
Take a few more breaths here. And let's start to wiggle fingers and toes. Go through whatever process you do to sit up. And the hands together. Take a deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale. And fold forward as you exhale. Namaste. My mat was so comfortable, I thought I might fall asleep in that Shavasana. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Good job, Yogi.